Welcome to TouchLine. I'm your host, Anthony Toter, here in the OSA studios, and I'm joined by the president of Erin Mills, Susan Rossiter. Susan, thanks for joining us here on TouchLine.
Thank you, Anthony. It's a pleasure.
It's a pleasure having you here. Your club is one of the biggest clubs in all Ontario and all of Canada, for that matter. How do you go about your day-to-day duties overlooking more than about 6,000 kids, if I'm not mistaken?
Actually, just shy 5,000.
Okay, 5,000.
But I guess with all the volunteers that we have, I've got a tremendous support system, and they do most of the work, and I just sort of take the glory.
Now talk a little bit about yourself, Susan. How did you start out? I'm sure that you must have started out helping out at the lower ages, maybe as a coach, as a volunteer. Let the viewers out there know how you started out.
Well, actually, I started out at 6 years old as a player. I played in the Rexdale area, and then I moved on to some higher levels of playing and got into some coaching. I actually managed 2 girls' teams here with the provincial teams.
Oh, great.
And played for Erin Mills, then did some coaching, and got onto the board as the director of boys competitive, and then not this January past, the one before, I was elected in as the president.
And congratulations on that. You've done a little bit of everything, and that's great to know that you just haven't done one area of soccer. You've played it, you've coached it, you've helped out. You talked a little about the volunteers, Susan. Mom and Dad, they spend a ton of time out there in their cars. Their weekends are gone most summers. They don't even go on vacations because they love it. Talk about the amount of volunteers that are at your club. There's a ton of them.
Yeah, we probably have approximately about 1,000 volunteers, wow. Coaches, managers, office staff, and they're great because without them, Erin Mills just would not possibly be anywhere near where we are.
Now you talk about those volunteers and you see a smile on their face when it's picture day, banquet day, and even tournament day, or when that little boy and little girl is just starting out at the little ages and maybe they've fallen down, they've gotten hurt, they go pick them up, they help them. You love seeing that, Susan. Talk a little bit about that.
Well, our for the most part, we've got the folks that are just give their all. It's hard to really explain what it is. It's a passion, mm-hmm. and everybody has their own version of their passion, but they do it because of their passion, and they love the kids, they love the sport, mm-hmm. and yeah, that's just their thing. It's very hard to explain why people do things like that, but we're fortunate because we have so many that do.
And it's a great story, your club. It started out very small, but then it grew and it's expanded. It's one of the biggest in all of Canada. Talk about the responsibility you have as a club, not only to this province, but to your area, Mississauga.
Well, we're definitely one of the leaders in development in soccer. It shows that in our Terra rankings, 4 years in a row, #1
yes.
in all categories. We continuously present programs that you'll see other clubs down the road tend to copy, or have their version of it, mm-hmm. and that. However, you know, we're the first club, if I'm not mistaken, to actually acquire our own professional team.
Yes, we're going to talk about that.
And you know, we're just trying to make soccer better in Canada, and I'm looking forward to seeing us in the World Cup again.
Susan, love your attitude, love the style, the way you come across. When we spoke about a year ago, all you wanted to talk about was the positives, and you and I described talking about the positives, and never mind the negatives, because we could be talking about the negatives forever and ever. Let's talk about the positives. You've just been granted a franchise in the CSL. This is great news for your club, for some of the young kids that maybe one day aspire to play at a higher level. But I'm sure a club like yours will even look higher and beyond, hopefully someday, to take your club to the next and the highest level possible. This is great news. Talk about it.
Yeah, it is. With this, we've just found that so many of our 16, 17, 18-year-old players, you know, there wasn't much for them to look forward to. And with this pro team, We have there's an incredible amount of energy that's going on within our club, within our players. It's almost like they've got a second wind, and everybody is just so excited about this. And a lot of our partners have been sending good wishes to us, and you know, if anything they can do, they'd be willing to help out. And no, it's just a really positive atmosphere for us in that. And we're also pushing very much for a professional women's team.
Good, good.
We've been working very hard with some people behind the scenes in that, and we're pretty
You're happy.
hopeful that we'll get this through too, because our women's soccer is incredible at Erin Mills and in the country. If I'm not mistaken, I believe we're 9th in the world. And we need to put Canada on the map. And if it's going to be with the women's program, then so be it.
Hey, I'm all for it. Talk about some of the jewels in that women's program you've had, gone on to success on provincial teams and national teams. You were telling me about some of the young girls that have had great success. Tell the viewers.
Sure. One of the people that comes to mind is Tiffany Cameron. You know, she was with our program for many years in that, and she's quite a mentor to the young girls. And incredible player and a fine young lady. Tiffany really stands out in my mind, really. But yeah, there's several of our players that have gone on to the provincial program, that have gone to university in the States and that. The one thing that is truly important with our club is around school break time, you'll see the clubhouse is crazy, because a lot of the students that are coming back from university, it's their time, of course, to come spend with mom and dad, but more so they come in there, it'll be 11, 12 o'clock at night, and they're in the club, and it's just crazy.
You love that.
It's like a party.
You love that. You love hearing stories like this, Susan, because then all those volunteer hours were all worth it, because you're getting the university kids, instead of being out there on the club scene, out there helping out and enjoying being part of a soccer community. And this is great to hear. You mentioned to me also about a young man that's gone on to have some success, and hopefully even more success in Europe with Feyenoord in the Dutch league. Talk about that young man.
Yeah. Andrew Ornock, he's just recently come home, but yes, he was in Holland playing in that, and we're looking forward to seeing better and more wonderful things coming from Andrew. I'd love to say that he's going to play for us, but I think he might have some other ideas, but we'll keep working on him.
Susan, before we let you go, let's talk a little bit about in the city of Mississauga. You're blessed, I got to be honest, with some really good fields. I mean, here in the GTA, specifically in the North York, Toronto area, there's not too many good fields. But in your area, every time I've taken my two boys to tournaments in whatever part of the city of Mississauga, the fields are pristine, they're in good shape, they're cut, they're manicured. Why is that?
Well, I mean, I think the world spoke when they named Hazel McCallan #2 mayor in the world, only by one vote, I might mention. And she is a great mayor. She is very, very involved. Personally, I've seen her actually driving around, getting out and actually checking things out herself. And I've had the privilege of doing a Remembrance Day parade with her. Very, very hands-on rather, and she believes in sports, and she just puts all the efforts out there to make sure that everybody has what they need to be successful.
This is great to hear. At least you're telling the viewers out there that the mayor of your city is actually getting her hands dirty and getting out there and helping out the kids. You love to hear this. Talk a little bit about, Susan, what are the new projects on the horizon for your club in the upcoming months, maybe the upcoming years? What are you trying really to do and focus more on at Erin Mills?
Yeah. Well, we've put a few more programs together. We've got an academy-type program which will tackle our cream of the crop, if you will, and give them the option of being as good as they can possibly be. We last year we started our tour of Europe. So we're taking this. We took about 15 boys, if I'm not mistaken, and one young lady, and we were in Hungary, Croatia, Austria, Italy, and it was a wonderful experience for the kids, and they got to train with several of the well-known clubs, and were very successful. It was wonderful to see that when they measured themselves against the European kids, that they were actually on standard, in some cases even better. Like I said, we've got our pro team, Mississauga Eagles FC. We're hoping to get our women's program with a professional women's team and a league in place. We're also working on our the education side of things. A lot of times we get so caught up in soccer, we don't realize that that in itself can be an avenue to take our kids to higher learning. So we're working. We used to have a tour of America, and we're working on tweaking that and getting that set up so that all the universities, including the Canadian universities, get a look at our kids and offer them the best education that they can get.
I mean, these are so many great things that you're talking about, Susan. You're exploding with great ideas from your club and from all different avenues. This is great for the city of Mississauga, for your club, and you continuously raise the bar from what I'm hearing from you, and that's great to hear. Before we let you go, Susan, we're at the OSA Center. I sense a buzz in the air in this province and in this country where people are starting to listen to the soccer people like yourself, who has played the game, coached the game, and helped out, and this is fantastic. What would you like to see more of here at the OSA in regards to provincial teams, administration, whatever it might be that you could let them know out there?
Well, I think where we might be lacking here would be in our communication, in listening to what the clubs really have to say. We're the grassroots, and we are in the trenches every day, and we know what's going on. Listen to what we have to say, and let's get Canada in the World Cup.
I love this woman's words. Susan Rossiter, president of Air Mills. When she says, let's get Canada in the World Cup, that is a men's team. We've seen the women in there many times, and they've had great success. Susan Rossiter, keep up the great work. You are a soccer person. You are in a great position in a great city. Thanks again for joining us on Touchline.
Thanks, Anthony.
It was my pleasure. This is a great club, Air Mills, and you know what? It's great stories like this, hearing from Susan Rossiter in so many different areas that they've expanded and gone into. It's great hearing it. Thanks again for joining us on Touchline.